Hey there, it's Joddie Taylor. Whether you're a first-time listener or it ain't your first rodeo, welcome to Joddie Tried It. This tiny podcast is about my journey of purchasing and trying many professional and personal development tools and resources, such as courses, memberships, subscriptions, templates, and apps. I'll share my honest review, key takeaways, and things you might want to consider to help you make informed decisions about your personal and professional development. Now, time for a quick affiliate disclosure. Some of the links mentioned on Joddie Tried It, either on the show or in the show notes, are affiliate links, and at no additional cost to you, I will earn a commission if you click through and make a purchase. It's a simple way to support the Joddie Tried It podcast, and I only recommend products and services that I genuinely love or believe might be helpful to you. Your trust is important to me. Thank you so much, and without further ado, let's hop on into it. So there's something you want to do, you want to apply for a job, you want to create something, maybe it's YouTube videos, but you don't have the skill, or you have a little bit but not what you need. So today we're going to chat really quickly about identifying skill gaps and how you might upskill. So you're different, I'm different, we're different folks. So I'm just going to give you some examples that may or may not apply to you, but I think you can use the framework. It's probably like 2 steps to make it apply to what you want to do. So I'm going to use one of my favorite, he might be my favorite foodie YouTuber, and his name is Kenny L. Song. If you haven't already, please check out his YouTube channel. His editing, it's so clean. It is a thing of beauty. And the more I watch his YouTube shorts, the more I think like, I want to learn how to do this. So he has a did he call it a villain origin story? I'll get the title and I'll put the link in the show notes. But he talks about how and why he started filming, and how he decided he wanted to edit films. By films here, I mean YouTube videos. And so he taught himself, he took courses, all because he wanted to be an editor for a YouTuber. And that did not work out. The YouTuber declined, but he still had these skills, and he ended up with his own YouTube channel, which is, in my opinion, a raving success. So he identified the gap. Hey, I want to be a film editor. I don't really have the skills. He identified his skill gap. I don't really have the skills. What can I do? I can take courses. I can take lessons. I can practice on my own. That was identifying the skill gap. And then he upskilled, right? So that's something that you can do. Another example would be you see a job description, and I literally watched a YouTube video. I'll see if I can find it. If I find it, I'll put it in the show notes. I think it was someone who wanted to be a data analyst, and someone sent her a description for a remote data analyst, and there were a few things that she just did not have the skill. It just wasn't in her wheelhouse. And so she was like, how can I make this work? So luckily for her, and this might be an outlier, but she happened to work with folks who were doing the job she wanted to do. So she was able to say, hey, I really want to learn this, and I know it's usually your job. Can you show me how you do this? Or here's an example of what I'm doing. So she was fortunate in that she had a resource. And maybe you have a friend who's doing what you would like to do, or coworkers who are doing what you would like to do. So she identified the gap. Here's a job that I have the soft skills for, but maybe I don't have the hard skills for. She worked with folks that she was already working with. She practiced on her own. I think she took a couple of courses, and she was able to, again, identify the skill gap, upskill, and she eventually applied for that job and got that job. So I just wanted to put these thoughts on your radar, this topic on your radar. Number one, there's something you want to do, but you don't have the skills, or you think you don't have the skills. Well, let's check. Check out a job description, talk to your friend in the same field, do some research online, on YouTube, read some newsletters, some blogs, and now you know, okay, I've identified the skill gap. Here's what I can do, A, B, and C. Here's what I can't do yet, D, E, and F. And then next, you're going to upskill. You're going to reach out to a possible mentor or a colleague, take courses, practice on your own. Practice makes progress. And then eventually you will have the skills that you desire. Okay, I have the YouTube titles for you. So first I mentioned Kenny L. Song. So the name of the YouTube short, the title is My Villain Origin Story. And he's answering the question, how did I start making content? Or rather, how did you start making content? That was the question he was answering. So I'll put the link in the show notes to that YouTube short. And then the other video that I referred to was indeed about data analysts. And that's from Agatha. That's her YouTube channel, Agatha. And the title of the video is How I Became a Data Analyst and Got a Job, No CS Degree. And just looking through her timestamps, she talks about her background, fill in the gaps, the skill gaps I was talking about, study, hands-on experience, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the two resources. So there you go. Two resources in terms of things you can watch on YouTube, which hopefully the algorithm on YouTube will supply other videos like that if you're interested, or, just Google for similar stories, or Google how to identify skill gaps. Do your due diligence. This is just my opinion, of course, how to identify skill gaps and then how to close that gap and actually upskill. And again, this is probably going to vary depending on what your goals are and what the thing you want to produce or create or next do, what those things are. But just FYI, okay? Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Joddie Tried It. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my newsletter at joddie.substack.com. That's joddie.substack.com. And please share with a friend or three. Thanks for listening.